It's a mystery. The desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. No strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Oh, it is in our inventory. I just want to talk to Gumshoe first in case I complete the jar and it moves us on to trial. And I don't get to hear what he has to say about things. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk. No one except Chief Gant. And the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. Can't possibly be any clues remaining. I'll fix the jar in 2 seconds. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Yes. Why do you ask? You don't think? Nah, you wouldn't be. No. No, there's no way. Never mind, don't worry about it. Okay, now then, let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy. Huh? What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go with that. Sorry, this guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think. Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? I think it's pretty obvious he is. What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief Gant, so it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings. Yet. There you go, ignoring me again. Okay. Can I put... You don't... Hey, look. Hard to bring up, but there's some dark red stains here. Looks like blood. Think Detective Goodman's blood somehow got on this when he was stabbed? I like that this blood looks like it's been here for months, maybe longer. Okay, they've already said that. Okay, so maybe I'm not supposed to look at it. I'm gonna present to you, because I didn't get the item in my inventory because I guess I couldn't take it unless I could prove it, so boosh. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? I remember when the three of us put that back together. Oh, those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right. One of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found? You mean this one that was in the safe? Yes, that one. That was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Assemble fragments. Leave them be. Like, nah. Hey, let me see this shard. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do. Mr. Wright, here's some glue. If I can piece this together again, it'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. Okay, see if we can put this piece in. Maybe. Holy moly, it goes together. There, fits like a charm. That of course means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But... Hey guys, get a load of this. What is it? This piece you just attached. It's different from the others. There's a reddish line on it. Reddish line. Okay, I'm at a loss for that one. That's blood. We already knew there was blood on there. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? Unstable jar updated in courtroom. Evidence from this night is the final fragment found in Chief Gant's safe. Blood traces. But I mean, we knew there was blood on it already. Hey, look here. It's hard to make out, but there's a dark red stain here. Looks like blood. This piece the chief has is different, though. Blood stains the other pieces are just spots. But this one's a line. That is odd. Is it? I mean, I could be wrong, but that's... I don't know. Is lines better than a dot? They still aren't that interested in it, so... Can I fingerprint it? That's just me looking at it. Okay, now we've got to present the... Send that to you. Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this. Hey, I know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints? That's a great idea, Detective. All right, go to town. Sheesh. What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints. It's not your fingerprints we want to take. Huh? Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe. Oh, heh. I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, where's your sense of humor? Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Then once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. What are you, my mom? Must be told a million times. All right, let's get this over with. Just laying out the dust. Give my best shot. That kind of result won't be any good for matching prints, will it? But it doesn't look like we'll get a clear result from this print. Let's try a different finger then. Okay, let's try the middle one. That looks pretty solid. Nailed it. Wait, it's your finger? Yeah, it's Emma Sky's fingerprint. What? Why is it yours? No. How can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match. Whose fingerprints were they? Huh. Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Dark's prints. Psst, hey you, over here. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. Piece of cloth folded and added to court record. My only guess at this point would be that they took the fingerprints off the knife, and the person who actually used the knife in the killing was Emma, and not Dark. Like, he probably was in there struggling, and she went to save the detective, and she ended up stabbing him. Because he was stabbed in the back. And not too many people, if I was fighting you, I wouldn't turn my back to you. So I'm assuming that's what happened, and they took her fingerprints off to protect her. And they wanted to get the conviction on Dark. Well, was I any help? Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. That's my stab. Now that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat? Chief Gant! We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in science. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then I thought of a certain detective. Do you mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry. Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir. Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But sir... Now get out. Yes, sir. Be on our way too, then. Wait, you the one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir? I'd like a word with you. But sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet. You with the spiky hair, you're free to go. Mr. Wright? Look, pal, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you? I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. Gant is definitely the bad guy here. Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. But why has she kept eerily silent about it all this time? Because her sister was the one who actually killed Mr. Marshall's brother. Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later, pal. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. Okay. I see, so the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing, not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important, something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I've finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. Is it? Let's do it. I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth, it's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say? So you think I'm protecting this person? Yeah, it's your sister, hands down. Protecting? No, I think afraid of is more like, oh, okay, sorry, we're talking about Gant. Whoop! If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, who, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? The one I am supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? Damon Gant, clearly. No, it's Dick Gumshoe. You're afraid of it. Well, Miss Sky, I'd be scared of him getting my coffee order wrong. Mr. Wright, you are addressing the chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? I mean, sure. We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he was respectful, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. specifically hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant. Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of the investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Damon Grant. Oh, snap. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in the case. Which one do I start with? Do I go with this one that was found in Chief Gant's safe or the evidence? I mean, we'll start with this, I guess. The evidence list. I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. That's incorrect. We found that in the desk, I thought. Oh, never mind. Oh, never mind. He's producing all the evidence. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident, and not the item I selected out of the inventory. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the Chief's orders. I mean, it proves that Gant was on the team, but it doesn't prove that Gant was hiding evidence. Him actually having the jar in his locker, the handprint, or the list of evidence that was missing is more proof that he tampered, as opposed to a photo of, hey, I was at a party. So I cannot disobey the Chief's orders. Even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. But that being said, the way the game's playing, I'm surprised it wasn't the photo. Or your frickin' lawyer badge at this point. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate. In the murder of Detective Goodman. Perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Orders. Although I can't tell you the details. You're literally going to be sent to jail unless you tell me the details. I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Aha! Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. Trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No, it was the other blade. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. The knife from SL9 incident, serial killer Joe Dark's knife. Which means he was killed in the evidence room and the other knife was just put in there. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That would be Edgeworth's knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that is the reason for the bandage on your right hand. Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Huh. So you did stab a dead guy. Ooh. Miss Star, huh? Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't even want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that. By whatever means possible. So you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it. Yeah. It's the most surprising part, especially since she lied so much during her whole Speech. An Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right, then I called my sister. To tell her what happened, and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. Your muffler? Oh, right, the scarf's a muffler. Oh, jeez Louise. You asked Emma. I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. I'll explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling. The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. Phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. Jake Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted the fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean... Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seemed he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But, Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now, please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. And what went down at the chief's office 2 years ago. I wonder if this knife was actually used as the weapon that killed him, and then they switched out his blades to blame it on Dark. Like, Dark had his knife. The middle guy was fighting him to save Emma in the room, and I'm guessing Emma used that knife to stab, maybe? That's why the sword was removed, and that's why the blades didn't match? Oh, Lord. It's just gonna be a disaster zone in court. I think I've got it roughly figured out. I'm assuming I don't know, maybe they executed the wrong guy. That would mean that our, favorite cowboy patrolman's brother was a killer. And he was on the investigation team investigating himself. This defendant lobby all right, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth, knowing you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is. That is, well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who figured it out. The only reason this trial didn't reach verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does not belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from the list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes Wright and Chief Prosecutor Scott will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. Oh, no. This is it. If I'm gonna find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Here we go. It's time for court. It's gonna be a long court run, I'm sure. Nice. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. That's awesome. That'd be kind of fun. Except for you constantly getting screwed over in the game, since it's getting screwed over in this one continuously. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth this opening statement. Before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Udgy. Been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. Don't mind me asking, Chief. Exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's she gonna do, stand up? I'm guilty. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? Here comes the guilty. I confess to all charges against me. Oh no. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana. Ah! Objection! You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana. Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. Prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there is no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. Yes. Defendants are allowed to fire their lawyers or attorney, and you are allowed self-representation so she can represent herself in court. They don't usually recommend it. They recommend you have a lawyer, but yeah, you can. Appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant... Objection! One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. Why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut? I think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes? Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh? To whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. Oh, damn. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it will be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Although, from all the people I've ever watched that have self-represented themselves, they've usually gone under pretty fast, because they're, usually don't do well. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation, I'm Lana's little sister. And I want to be a scientific investigator. That's not an occupation, that's your relation, but whatever. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. You sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. Trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. I feel like we're not defending or prosecuting anyone anymore. We're just digging. 2 years ago. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. That's fine. A man came running in and took me hostage, right? Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. Oh, wrong. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination. Ugh. Wait, we're gonna... I know what I want to press you on, not that. That's fine. You didn't remember what you saw in that instant because the power went out. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Drake. Just then, the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then, lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Good thing we only remember these things in court. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning. What? But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Nope. I got it. Right. Mr. Edgeworth. This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet, you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Yeah, she didn't know about what Lana was up to murdering this, but 2 years ago she was involved. She was almost killed by the serial killer. This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. In the SL9 incident, she was, they were questioning, Dark at the time, the guy who was serial killer. And he ran out of the investigation. The interrogation, that's the one I'm looking for. Ran down the hall, bumped into the office that we were looking at with the organ and everything, and found Emma in there. That was when Marshall's brother went in, fought Dark, and ended up perishing there. So she drew a picture of the scene that she saw of them fighting. And that murder there is what got Dark arrested and eventually sentenced to death. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Aha! What's this? Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. I'm not really sure why people wouldn't just freaking give me the details. It's like they hate me, trying to make my job 10 times harder, or it's all gonna come out in court. Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Well, the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh. These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Hey man, you still got the conviction. Order. But Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. You never turned your piece of paper over. Is something wrong? Well, this is first time being right in this game. You're doing a lot better than half the people in this game. Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. Ha! Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That stupid mascot. That's that thing. Oh, it's like the best jingle of all time. Just let you enjoy that. The thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I have no idea why I didn't see it before. And I'm just saying that, what's his name? The Blue Badger has been at almost every single murder scene now. I'm just saying, maybe it's sentient. Just throwing that out there. I could be wrong, but just saying. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's. Yes, clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list restored and updated in the court record. With 2 pieces of tape. Who knows? Maybe. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Yeah, we got that. The flash of lightning was so bright that all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. That was a really short testimony on that. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I mean, I'm not trying to be picky or anything. But it's like there's no faces or anything. We're really assuming who's in what position here. Press that. So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor. Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? After that, I must have fainted. Press on that. So we're asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course. This is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I better watch out, or he might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Oh, well... That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Is there? Just a second. I'm gonna... Well, I mean, this face is kind of sideways, but I mean, this is... I'm not trying to say I'm an artist, but that is like the non-sharpest knife I've ever seen. Like, just saying. Saying. Yeah. Can I present the photo? Is that how I get her to... Oh, that's wrong. Ah, the music didn't stop. That's not good. This evidence clearly reveals a contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. How exactly are that evidence and the statement just now related? They aren't, are they? Dang, that's wrong. Hello, Mr. Wright. Please think the facts before making accusations. I don't think that would make any points with the judge. That's my bad. Let's press that. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No, I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture... Yeah. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course. Exact scene. It wasn't influenced by anyone. Talks to the detective. Okay, well, I'm just gonna... Okay, let's just press things I didn't. Press. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later. The memory should still have been fresh in her mind.
Excuse me, witness. Or can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black?
I think I pressed her on this one already. This time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who came to rescue. Yeah, I did. No, I couldn't see him clearly. Light was so bright. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what they're looking for. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've got to probably have to show something. Pressing's me not getting anywhere. A lot of objections being thrown around. It's that, but how do I... Pretty sure it's the knife. Oh, wait. Ha 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 ha. Sorry, I'm herp-derp-derping around. He was stabbed in the back. Clearly, in that instant, that doesn't look like his back. There it is. Music stopped, I got it. Okay. Whew. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy?
It's right here when he's... Or... Is that what I want to hit? Or do I want to hit that? Was it the backstabbing or is it the tip of the knife? No, I was saying the knife was funky. We're gonna go there. So the knife was funky this whole time. Contradiction, of course, lies here. Please be right, please be right, please be right. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. Look closer, you can see its tip is broken. Well, yeah, that's...
Even I don't have to look closer to see that, Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off the victim's body.
It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. Was I right or wrong? And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound in the back. The victim was only stabbed once. Then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Oh, I was right. Yay. I was worried there for a second the way they were going.
Ah, what's the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there.
That's right, but what does this mean?
Okay, it was right for the wrong reasons, which ended up being right. The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. Holy objections flying. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No.
Arg.
So they pushed it in after he was dead.
Order, order, order.
He really has to call order a lot in this court.
Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted?
Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. Police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Grant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie. The story was so short. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances of there being two broken knives?
Another broken knife besides Joe Drake's looks like this one's off the trophy. Could there have been one? There is another one. The witness is adamant about the accuracy of what she saw. It can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife.
I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us.
The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder, so one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Do I use the trophy or would I use the picture? Okay, I'm gonna go with the trophy itself, hopefully. If anything's broken here, it's you. Huh?
I'm sure this must all be very amusing to you, Mr. Wright. May I remind you that the fate of Miss Lana Skye hangs in the balance.
Oh, I'm supposed to present the team photo. Sorry, Your Honor. Please give me another chance. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Just kick me in the nuts. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is the picture of the award center. Ah!
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding? That's a broken knife. God, just painful. It's really concluded the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award.
Order, order. Order!
Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutor that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors Award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, the man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! Oh, dang!
But the prosecutor was the one who actually died.
That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything.
Witness.
Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back?
I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me.
Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Sky?
Yes, Your Honor. First the knife makes up, and now the blue badger? Should be interesting. Here we go. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of light. That's what I saw, the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw a shadow. We were 15 stories up. How did you...
This is certainly most unusual.
Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until last year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago.
Yes, well, defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Stop, please. Don't pursue this any further. Lana.
What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back.
Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant.
It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Yeah, her sister totally killed this guy. I saw that man raise his knife. I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. I wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. The only thing I could think of, and I mean like this is just a massive shot in the dark. Is that she's now attributing it to the blue badger because that's what everybody's seen, so it must have been something that was in the room that wasn't the blue badger, which it's kind of got weight on the bottom. It's got the two little bulbs on the side. But that's saw the man raise his knife. That's fine. I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife just then. That's where I saw the blue badger. You know what? Whatever, we can be wrong again. Present. Oh, the music stopped. We're good. We're good. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this.
But that's... what exactly is that?
I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint?
Our viewpoint?
I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Like, that way, or? I'm thinking more that way. Maybe? Does that look more like him? That looks good, right? This is right. I've got to make it look more like the badger. Whoop! Allow me to remind the defense, its case hinges on the witness' drawing. If Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew, we cannot accept this claim. Gotta find just the right angle. Maybe I should rotate it vertically a bit more. Or horizontally? Mr. Wright, you can do it. Gotta show them the correct angle to look at it from.